Hey Hollywood Hills fans, and welcome back to the show. Now, as you'll have seen, the last couple of weeks we took a little bit of a gap from our weekly Hollywood shows. The reason for that, certainly last week, was that we came back from the 424 and wanted to go straight into the edit to put a lot of time and effort into that. So 424s has been a new project for us, working in the 2022 season with Jono Horsforth. We went out and we did that first one just over a month ago, and we got really good feedback from the event and from the production. So we're super excited to carry on that working relationship with Jono and the 424 guys. So the LiveX lads went out there and made it happen once again at Balfour, right at the beginning of winter as well. So you can see there's a slight change of look and feel of how things are going with racing. But the amazing thing is there's still a little bit of moisture out there, even though we are literally rolling into the month of April now. So without further ado, here is 424, round number 2 from Balfour.
All of the 424 Off-Road Series racing action is brought to you by HFC Engineering, VW Mastercars Hatfield, AC Crane Maintenance, EMD Boxburg, Insight Printing and Packaging, the 424 Garage, and a welcome to Savuti Transport and Old School Customs. Coming in from the success of round number 1 just over a month ago, more than 200 riders once again came out and braved the cold and slightly damp conditions out at Balfour for the second round of what is now a very successful 424 Off-Road Racing Championship. Chat to Jono to see what the day had in store.
We had Balfour. What an awesome event, or awesome venue. Let's hope it's going to be a good day. The rain keeps out and we don't rain wet. We had a little bit of rain this week. It was more like a thunder shower that complicated a few little things. But otherwise, new virgin terrain, new farm, new venue, new everything, and awesome, awesome.
Well done to Jono and the 424 squad for going out and finding some new terrain for everyone to go racing on. As we saw at round number 1, the future of the sport is the minis, and once again we saw new fresh blood coming in at round number 2.
The mini class, like on round 1 which we started with, that's for the small kids, BW 50s, the mini 50s and so forth. The cutest little class you can imagine, and they're going out 8 o'clock, doing about a 45-minute race. There's no winner, there's no loser. Everybody gets a prize, and just to build the spirits and build some new talent in the sport. From there, stepping stone. It's a stepping stone to the 50s, and then 65s, 85s.
45 minutes of a pretty basic track layout, and remember, the whole idea for the minis is just to make sure the boys and girls are comfortable on this terrain. They get to go out racing with mom and dad for the day and start to understand what this beautiful world of off-road, cross-country and enduro riding is all about. Loads of mums and dads and chaperones and helpful hands to go out there and make sure that the kids are all good when it comes to the fallovers. We make sure that they stay very close to the pits, so the moms and dads are very much involved in the event. And for 45 minutes, they get to go out there and they are the superstars on the show. Our camera crew gets some good leg work in as well, chasing the little wheels around the small track. And this time around, it was great to see brand new riders coming out to test their mettle out at round 2 of the 424s. One of the great stories of the event was the fact that Travis Herbst, coming out of Brian Herbst's stable, had only just swung a leg onto a two-wheeler a couple of days before the event and still walked away with his first ever win. That's going to be a journey of racing that we look forward to following as Travis Herbst takes his first ever event win. Dad would be up next on the quads. So as with the 424 races, it's all about the minis in the morning. Then we go straight into the big loop for the quads and the slightly smaller loop for the juniors. Before we go into racing though, we went down to the pits to catch up with some of our riders.
It is well organized. It's very safe. Jonathan and his guys, they put a lot of effort into this 424 racing. It's close by, it suits everyone, and yeah, we enjoy it.
I'm excited to race today. Just some practicing for today and the races because I'm new on my 65, so I'm just practicing.
Virgin ground, so a bit rocky, a bit muddy. They had a lot of rain here in Balfour, and I think there will be nice open stretches for us to speed up, but yeah, we're going to enjoy it.
First gate, Q1s. Reinhard Swart got the big pull off the gate, but remember, if you pull the big number 1 out of the whole shot queue, you are heading into virgin terrain and everyone else is following into your tracks. Reinhard's comfortable to do that though, but a couple of other riders did hang back. Clayton Buerta, one of those riders as well, trying to stay out of trouble, let everyone else open up the track, and then he would try and come good a little bit later on. In the Q2s, David Stratum was back, but was he back at full pace? Because normally he is great off the line this time around. Tinus Kotze got clear air, and he was kicking roost into some very fast faces behind him. Senior gate was an interesting one where all eyes would be on Brian Herbst as he walked away with the senior win last time out, as well as the overall. Not the greatest pull off the gate, so he was bobbing and weaving the whole way through the start scenario, and by the time he left the whole shot queue, he was in second place, and then quickly in open air, he was going to run. For the ladies, it was all about putting on the show off the start line. One of the ladies practically looping herself out there. She would get up and recover, but the race lead was gone and she'd have to really charge from the back. She'd lost the wheel of the top ladies. There would be solo flying from there on out on the big loop. With the quads out there off the gate, it was time to turn our attention to the juniors. The 85s, it was all about Corbin Muller. He was very strong at the opening round, and once again, he would try and lead from the front of the pack and try and get out of dodge nice and early. Very strong riders, though, on that 85 gate, who now understand how to attack a 424 event. For the 65s, it's the whole shot machine, Jean-Luc van der Westhuizen, who now looks like he is getting super comfortable with clicking gears and pulling in that clutch. He pulled the big whole shot, but could he survive out there all day long against the rest of the best of the 65s? On the 50cc gate, coming into 2022, one name was talked about more than anyone else's, and that is Declan Richards. He pulls another big hole shot, and he gets out and gets gone. No one was going to come near the back wheel of Declan the rest of the day. As always, with our juniors going out there, plenty of dads, plenty of chaperones and roving marshals to make sure everyone is good to go and having fun out there racing.
Junior loop is nice, fast and flying in some sections. Then we brought the speed down in some twisties. Luckily no mud or very little mud. Otherwise grasslands, millilands, something of everything. The rocks are at the minimum so the guys can go out and pin it and go forward with it. Yeah.
The whole approach for the 424s for the junior classes is to keep things pretty basic, try and get them up to speed, try and really build their confidence that they can use as they go forward into the rest of their racing career. Checking out the results, number 6 on the day going to DC Daniel, always bringing home points on the page. Eben Scholz up the road with a number 5, Sebastian Nel tagging a number 4 finish, and the class of the field was Caleb Van Heerden smashing it all the way to a number 3 ride. Lo Lombard, tasty, with a number 2 spot, but as we said, coming into this event and this series, Declan Richards, whole shot, stamping his authority on the 50cc gate and a standout champion. going to be tough to beat him. On the 65s, all about Vijay Kombrink cracking a number 5 ride. Getting that old school Yami running the numbers. Jan Krobler was a little bit further up the road with a number 4 with Dalton Powell cracking it inside of a top 3. A lot of these riders just getting themselves used to this format of terrain. Powell looked comfortable on the bike, so it's pretty clear that he's going to be a top 3 runner at pretty much every single one of the events we go to. Jean-Luc van der Westhuizen, 1 or 2 problems on the day, but nothing too gnarly. Still finding his feet on the new 65. But love those elbows up and shoulders high riding style of van der Westhuizen. Always going to be entertaining. Jean Terblanche, though, was near on unstoppable. One of the big kids on the 65cc gate, working that Yami all the way to the tippy top and putting in the fastest lap times of the 65s as well. He gets the win on the day. In the 85s, it is tough to break your way inside of that top 5. 6th place this time around, going to Gabriela Folleringham. Koenraad Kombrink inside of a number 5 ride, with Darren Vos up there taking a number 4. Vos was good off the gate, but he started to fade back a little bit later on in the day. Up the road and now breaking consistent top 3s. Chris Harmser Jr. works his way forward now to be a key rider to watch in the championship chase. He's going to outgrow that 85 towards the end of the season, so watch for him to really have to work on his style. 3rd place, he'll be pretty happy with that though. Ben van Schalkwyk, after being one of the stars of the 65cc Tour in last season's 21 championship, now breaks out into the 85s, stays on a cower and stays with a number 2 spot. But Corbin Muller absolutely hammered the nail this time once again. He is going to be tough to beat on the 85cc gate. As for 444 Power Sport Racing, he continues his dominance of the juniors. Confirmation of Muller out front once again, ahead of Van Schalkwyk and Harmser, with Vos, Kombrink and Folleringham picking up the pieces of the points inside of the top 6. 65cc's all about Jean Terblanche. Very good style to see this kid. Can he hang tough for the rest of the championship? Van der Westhuizen is getting tasty with a 2 spot ahead of Powell, Krobler, Kombrink and Martens, and Declan Richards putting some massive time into his closest rivals on the gate. Lo Lombard, Van Heerden, Nel and Scholz.
Yeah, look, the quads are going to be I think they're going to enjoy it, but there's some sections they're going to be busy, like the twisties. It's very short and fast. Like I say, quick on each other, short distance out of each other, and then the open patches they're going to love. The big sweeps, they're going to enjoy that. So not too much technical. There is some rocks, but not much. And then we've got a nice mud bog, which we're going to keep the guys busy with for a while, and then they're heading back to the pits and starting all over again.
So grasslands to start things out, a little bit of rocks and that sting in the tail. The mud bog. Camera crew would definitely be making their way out there to make some stars of the riders out there on the 424 Tour. For the ladies' gate, just 3 qualified finishers. This time around, Karine Thiessen finding the mud and not doing a too bad a job of things as well. She was first off the gate, dropping down to 3rd place when it came out to racing full time. Shanae Van Vuren picked herself up and actually qualified inside of a 2nd place come the end of the day. She's now starting to understand what the 424 races are all about and getting her training and her setup dialed in completely. But as with each event and each category, there has to be one that stands above them all. This time around at round number 2 out at Balfour for the 424s. Elandri Harman got the job done. Very similar setup on her quad to the lady running in 2nd place, but just dialed in the conditions a little bit better and ran comfortable numbers. For the seniors, breaking the top 6 is big. Johan Niemann was up there. George Groenewald was rocking his way inside of a top 5, chasing down onto the back wheel of now running inside the top 4, Martin Russ. Russ, we haven't seen racing for a long time, so cool to see him back on the points. Arnaud de Bruyn was up there running for a number 3 finish. Seniors has become one of those really strong competitive gates where it is hard to call who is going to walk away with it each time around. Arnaud Leroux getting a 2nd place ride, and he was trying to desperately get onto the back wheel of Brian Herbst. Flying Brian is on one in 2022. The overall winner and category winner of the opening round, and even though he took the senior win this time out, it wasn't without its problems. A couple of punches just to keep things a little bit dramatic on the day. Brian, though, still going to be happy to take that big win. Up the road in the unlimited category, the Q2s, where Reino van der Westhuizen rocked it up to a top 5. One of the few riders out there racing in an adventure helmet. Not a bad idea sometimes for the quad racers, as they don't have to deal with goggles, but they do have to mist up every now and again. You run what you got, it's that simple. Sean Frith comes back into the racing fold running inside of a number 4. The Friths used to be stalwarts of the cross-country racing series. Haven't heard the name for a long time, but Frith back on the money in the number 4 spot. Jaco Ruets was up the road running a number 3. Ruets is going to be a strong rider to watch out for as he starts to build momentum as we near the halfway marker of the championship tour. A good run at round number 1 and a pretty good run at round number 2, but it's not the old David Straydon that we used to see dominating each and every race he went out to. Again, problems on the day, dropping David Straydon down to a 2nd place this time around. There will be a win waiting for him soon though. Tinus Kotze, who pulled the big hole shot, ran out front. David was with him for most of the race, but he absorbed the pressure admirably and walked away with a big win. Watch out for him to build in the championship challenge. And then the Q1s. This is the 450 category where the guys had to go out first and open up the road. Jandre van Schalkwyk making it inside of a top 5. That's what you got to do. You got to make the flag and see the finish line every single time and start building those points. 4th place points and getting well inside of that top 10. Michael Nolte got himself up there, 4th place, and not too far off the back wheel of the pinners inside of that magical top 3. 3rd place this time around after not his best gate. I really think he was playing a game at the early morning session, letting the rest of the riders open up the track for him. 3rd place going to Clayton Buerta. He's a long game player and he's getting those points on the plate every single time, but it did look like he had some issues with the machine this time around. Reinhard van Jaarsveld walking away with a 2nd place finish. Reinhard is one of those riders who can always bring home the bacon, and it's the other Reinhard that walks away with a big win on the day. Reinhard Swart hammering the nail at Balfour to get the Q1 win. We went down to the pits and chatted to Brian to talk about all things quads on the day.
Yeah, look, it's about time I had a good season. Had a couple of years of bad luck and whatever, but it seems to be touch wood behind us. Having a good run this year, so yeah, you know, I had issues today though. Today was a day of punctures for me. Trying to pass guys in the long grass and hit a few lurkers, and yeah, so I did 2 more pit stops than I intended on doing, but yeah, at the end of it we still managed to pull off the win, and yeah, you know, good day at the end of the day. Yeah, not a bad track, not quite as fast as the first round. A little bit more technical, a lot of tight and twisty stuff. The rocky sections were, there's a lot of lurkers, a lot of hidden stuff. You had to take it easy that you didn't break the bike, but all in all a good track, you know, good day out, playing in the sun, in the mud. Big cleaning day tomorrow, but yeah, look, you know, again, and I say it every time, you know, without our sponsors, it's not possible for us. You know, Dragon Energy, they always come to the party. They're keeping us hydrated. They give us the means to go out. CST give us, you know, phenomenal tyres. I really had to abuse them today to break them. And Dirt Nurse, you know, again, Dirt Nurse's claim to fame comes the following day when the cleaning starts. But without them, we would never get it done. And it's, you know, it's with the biggest thank you that we say to them. Thanks for letting us go racing. It was a nice day today. You know, I managed to race with my little guy Travis. So he raced in the mini class today. He learned to ride a 2-wheeler last weekend and came in the mini class and managed to take the win as well. So a good day for the family today.
That's what we like, father and son, and sometimes father, son, daughter and mother all racing at the same time. Cool to see these numbers on the page. Reinhard Swart, congrats with the big win at round number 2. That's been a long time coming, beating out on Van Jaarsveld, Buerta, Nolte, Van Schalkwyk and Robinson. And then into the Q2s, the man that actually walked away with the top time and the overall for the event. Tinus Kotze winning out in the Q2s, beating out on Straydon, Ruets, Frith, van der Westhuizen and Hardeman. Into the seniors, which is becoming a very, very difficult class to call. Herbst at the moment has gone 2 for 2, beating out on Leroux, De Bruyn, Ras, Groenewald and Niemand. And your ladies winner at the moment, the one to beat in the quads, is Alandri Harman, beating out Van Vuren and Thiessen. That's our wrap of the minis, the juniors and the quads. Stay tuned for more senior 2-wheeled action. morning session was all about the juniors and the quads. The afternoon session gets a bit serious when all the two-wheel warriors go out there and get dialed in. It's always nice to catch up with some faces, though, before we go racing and they put their helmets on. We headed to the pits.
I think the 4x4 is a great preparation for the GXCC. It's not so difficult, but it's at least seat time you get. And I just enjoy the community, the people here. It's so much fun. Yeah, no, I love it.
My first 4x4, and I'm gonna enjoy it. Lekker.
Yeah, guys. Yeah, well, it's about growing the sport, being involved, and just enjoying it at the end of the day. So, I mean, everybody wants to get out, get your head clean, and yeah, just go for it. Enjoy it.
Yeah, you know what, man? It's time to refresh. We've been hit by COVID, enjoying ourselves, and to be and to be involved in sport and see what other your guys are doing. Now we're gonna be racing with we're rookies in anyway, but we're gonna be taking on the pros today.
Never give up. When you fall down, get up on the bike and just go again and just keep on trying.
It's awesome events, and it's nice to get back into the sport after 3 years. So it's very nice events to ride.
Well, it's an awesome event. Our whole team is actually down in Dalton doing the national. So we decided, you know, we're going to ride anyway. Might as well come here and enjoy ourselves. I think it's an awesome experience. This event is great. So well organized, so yeah, we're really looking forward to it.
A lot of mud. Hopefully it doesn't rain, but if it does, we take it as it comes and we just try our hardest.
Well, I've never been here, so we'll find out. Just hope it's smooth sailing.
Good luck, guys.
It's going to be technical. I hope not as flat out as it used to be, but it will be technical and windy and some mud tracks. And it's always been an awesome track that he's laid out, Jonathan, so it's safe.
I think it's going to be tight, but I think it's going to be fast as well. So just look out for some of the lurkers and be safe, that's all.
The bike's in for a nice open track. There are some lurkers running around. We're busy cleaning them out before they head out. You know how it goes. The rocks grow like mushrooms when when the quads go through it. So we're just going through the track, making sure there's as little as possible rocks on the open sections, and yeah, a little bit of mud and nice flowing sections, tights, and a little bit of rocks. So the guys are going to enjoy it.
Always cool to see the sweepers and the marshals making sure the track is still there after the quads tear it up. Now it's time to go racing, two-wheel style. The Big Banger OR Pros with a couple of tasty riders in the queue as well. Everyone's starting to line up on the gate to see what they can do. Matthew Snyman from the VW Mastercars Hatfield squad gets his first whole shot of the season to try and run and taste clear air. In the OR Pro-Ams, this was going to be an interesting gate as everyone didn't really know who their competition was. It seems to be at every single round we see new blood rising to the top, and every now and again they break their way into the same lap times as the pros up the road from them. In the OR Open A's, it was suns out, guns out for Jean Schippers, and he pulled the big hole shot and put around about 6 bike lengths into the rest of the field. High schoolers, these kids don't hold anything back, and even though he had to make his way through a little bit of traffic, Yamaha putting on a show coming out the gate. Henky Smith was running clear. Back to the gate as we started to make our way through the never-ending lineup of something like 13 gates on the motorcycles going out of the queue. After the high schools, the OR Open Bs, and then into the seniors. The senior gate is a wild one as well, peppered with a ton of riders out of the VW Mastercars Hatfield squad. Everyone was chasing to see if they could topple Yanni Potgieter. He didn't get the best gate, but he's a good racer. Into the Masters with once again an eye-watering gate. There's so many fast guys coming out of the age group categories for the seniors and the Masters, and once again it was anyone's bet to see who could walk away with this one. The wild class is an interesting one. This is where the guys get their first time and first taste of racing. Many of them first time racers to any event, not just to the 424s. The idea is to give them a taste of the pie and hope that they come back for more. The OR ladies is interesting. Very similar to the quads, we start to see numbers building up, and every now and again a couple of standout riders. The star of round number 1 was Danelle Delport on the Honda. She didn't get the best gate, but she can race herself forward. Just 2 kids going out of the senior 85s. They'd be going out there to see how many of the high schoolers they could catch up onto the back wheel of, but they'd have a lonely first lap until they were joined by a couple of the classics. Some amazing bikes on the gate this time around. Once again, 7 of the very best going out there to tame the track that is 424 Balfour. With all riders out on the track, it was time to get serious and see who made it into the magical top 5s. Before that, though, we headed back to the pits to talk to Jono and a couple of the new sponsors about our partners here at 424.
Sponsors, they, like always, since we started, VW Mastercars are with us. They're giving all they can. They're really on board with us. This race again, they sponsored me an awesome Hilux bucky to mark the track with and do all the marshalling and so forth. I'm really blessed with them. They're looking after me very, very well. We're running a couple of nice, interesting stuff in the next week. After production, you should see it on social media in conjunction with VW Mastercars. And yeah, they're awesome. We can only appreciate them. And then HFC Engineering, they since last year as well been on board helping us in so many ways, and then with the production side of things.
Well, we basically involved through the Sun. I've been doing quad racing very long time, stopped for a while, so the Sun has come in and started to race, so we started to get involved again with doing the 424 series, and we've started just now with the GXCC one as well. And on the sponsorship side, we want to get the series, get the guys back into motor racing. And everybody takes it so serious. It's not that serious. We must enjoy it first before we can, do it seriously and do it competitively. So for me, it's going, it's about the enjoyment of it.
New sponsors that came on board, Safati Transport, Stefan and the guys, they're sponsoring the finishers medals. Awesome guys to work with. Then Old School Customs, Tian and the guys, they're on board with us. Awesome oaks to work with. We spoke a few times on the phone. He phoned me and said, I want to get involved. How can we get involved? We really want to, we're racing, we want to be on board.
So basically we've been riding GXCC over the years, and we've kept, Jono, and we've seen, actually what he does and how he operates and what he does towards the sports and all of that. And I just decided, let's get involved, let's phone him, and let's try and make his life easier. I mean, to do this event, for all of the guys to ride it, I mean, all of us are having a hell of a nice day. But, I mean, for him to organize it, to do everything that he must do, it's not easy, and it's definitely not cheap to do it. So I just decided to get involved and to see where we can help, and yeah, it's basically that.
Okay, then once again, EMD Boksburg, always with us, giving us some prizes to give away for the guys who we're doing a little later on. So Marius and the guys, awesome. Go check out their online store. Great guys to work with, best products, best prices. They're really good for us.
Out on the track with all 13 of the gates mixing it up with each other, as you'd expect, the pros were laying down the best and fastest laps. Everyone else was just enjoying their time out at Balfour. Into the classics after pulling a great hole shot. One of the 1990 versions of the white KTMs, Alistair Stubbs broke his way inside of a top 5. Nelson Baloyi, after coming back from a horrific broken leg at the beginning of last season, is back on the money on the old Honda, rocking it out there to a number 4 ride. Trevor Guinness was upside into a number 3 on one of the old Yammies back in the day. His good buddy picking up a flat tyre. The lad's just having a cup of tea, riding out there. Henk Schilling, who knows his way around superbikes, but also how to get the best out of classic machines, was out there rocking his way to a number 2 spot. And once again, everyone is trying to find the answer to the question, how do you beat Johan Visser? And how do you get anywhere near the back wheel of the fire-breathing Kawasaki KX 500? Visser goes 2 for 2 in the series with 2 rounds counted. Two riders started out of the senior 85s, 2 riders finished. And they worked together well as they plowed their way through the traffic. They stayed together most of the day. Hendrik Swart getting a number 2 ride going with Krobler on the win. In the OR ladies, it was interesting to see some good solid lap times coming in. 6th place going to Yvonne Scott with Morelli Fotheringham up inside of number 5. These two were actually together most of the day, just working together to understand the track. Remember, a lot of these ladies, as well as a lot of the men out there, brand new to racing and brand new to 424s. Every now and again, the mud does catch 1 or 2 of them out. Unfortunately, Morelli Fotheringham tuck in the front in one of the big ruts. She was able to get herself up and recover to tag that number 5 finish come the end of the day though. A little bit higher up the road, and the pinners, Shelley Compain, rocked her way to a number 4 ride, and one of the standout riders from round number 1, Michelle Daniel, inside of a number 3. Danelle Delport, 2nd place this time around, so still in the hunt for the championship, and still getting better every single time she swings a leg on the sleepover CIT Honda. But at round number 2, it was the Nicole Compain show. She hammered the nail, putting some good time into her closest rivals. 3 minutes and 35 seconds was her winning margin over Delport. Compain found Balfour very much to her liking. Into the wild class, some of the new riders on the tour. Armand Janssen van Rensburg cracking a number 5 ride, enjoying his time behind the bars. Tinus Koch rolling out some fresh gear to tag a number 4 finish. And we did find that the track did dry up towards the end of the day as well, so the mud box weren't too nasty, and thanks to the court guys for cleaning that up for us. Chris van der Bank splashed and wobbled his way through into a number 3 ride on one of the older Kawasaki machines, and up inside the Magic Top 2. Fionn Tyson, one of the older X450s. That's the electric start in old money to you and me. Onto the back wheel of Sean DeLange, who walked away with our 2nd round win out at Balfour. Round 2 of the 424s. The whole idea of the wild class is if they're able to break out into the higher time brackets, they will be able to move up and go chase into some of the Open A and Open B gates. In the Masters category, which, like I said, when they went out the gate, is hard to call at the moment. Johan Fourie, who's getting himself very comfortable, also a circuit racing veteran of the ZX10 Cup, starting to get comfy on the off-roads. Ian Fanta back into racing after a couple of years off, using the 424s to get his eye back in. He's going to tag a number 4 finish on the day. That classic elbows up style. Once he gets his fitness and his confidence back, he'll be challenging for wins every time we roll. Charles Van Roy. Hard to think of this guy as a master. The shape that he makes on the bike makes him ride like a much younger man, and 3rd place is credit to that as well. He was in a race in the early laps with Johan Bosch, round number 1's winner. Bosch winning out this time ahead of Van Rooyen. Bosch could do no better than a 2nd place this time around, because the Viking came out swinging his axe once again. Kobus Jonk hammering the competition, putting well over 10 minutes into his closest rival, Bosch and Van Rooyen. Jonk was on the money out at Balfour. Into the seniors as well, and there are so many strong and tasty riders, it's tough to see who is going to be on the podium come the end of the season. Alex Buerta with a number 5. Chris Harmser getting the job done once again inside that top 5. That keeps him in the championship hunt for Mastercard's VW Hatfield, and he is very, very confident on that 500 nowadays. Rudy Martins got into a number 3 position this time around, riding out of the Roost KTM squad, with Gerard Foster putting in his best ride to date since stepping onto the sleepover CIT Honda squad. He is looking comfy and happy on the Honda. But once again, no crashes this time around, treating himself to a brand new helmet between the opening and the second round. It is Yanni Potgieter once again hammering the nail on the senior gate, bringing the VW Mastercars Hatfield 500 to the tippy top. The OR Open Bs gave us some good riders on the gate, so this is one of those question mark categories where it's very tough to decide who is going to be able to walk away as the title holder. Because of them, a lot of them being new to the sport as well, we may see new winners at almost every single event. Tiaan Pieters racked it up inside of a number 5, chasing down on the back wheel of Justin Hartsleeve. Hartsleeve looks like one of those comfortable riders, doesn't let the track get the best of him. He's able to just dominate his own style and ride himself into the race. Stevie Ray Coleridge on the Kawasaki inside of a number 3 ride, so he's starting to really gel well with the whole format. With Ross van Schalkwyk, casual as you like on the 715, bringing the Honda to a tasty number 2 spot. It's got to be a winner though, and the Yamaha of Devan Pieterse gets it up to the number 1 spot, putting a fair bit of time into his closest rivals as well. His lap times, you can see him run not too far off the back wheel of 10th place in the pro categories. Into the high schools with the majority of these guys out there on the 125 machines. This is an age category before they can move up into the unlimited classes. Dion van Start inside of a number 5 with Manus Herbst taking a number 4 finish. The high school riders really finding their pace and cutting their teeth at the 424s. The club championship before they move forward into the rest of the gates on the rest of the tours around the country. Cameron Farrell getting the Yamaha up into a number 3 spot with Henke Smith, who pulled the big hole shot but faded towards the end of the race, unfortunately, dropping back 1 position to eventually have to swallow the pill and take 2nd place. So it was Jean-Dre Bosch out front, putting just over a minute into his closest rival, and that's what we like to see with the high school gate. Real close lap times and rivalry developing and building as the season goes on. Bosch, the dude to beat on the 125 gate at the moment. In the OR Open A's, these are the guys that should be able to run some tasty lap times and bring home some of the top 20, maybe top 25 times of the day. Christo Delport on the Kawasaki inside the top 5 with Frana Fasaki cruising his way up to a casual number 4 finish. Sun's out, guns out there in the poppy fields, all about Jean Skippers. He pulled the big hole shot and only dropped back 2 positions come the end of the day to tag a 3rd place ride. Due for a new set of plastics and certainly some graphics on the bike, Mili Clausen deserves to look a bit more factory as he rocks his way up to a number 2 finish. More points on the plate for Clausen. And Nathan Godrich, who's very much using the 424 cross-country series to get his mojo back, and he's found it. Tasty numbers coming in from round number 1, even more impressive rides and positions coming in from round number 2. He's the dude to beat on that gate for sure, and I think he's about to make that move up to the pro classes. Gav Young, after absolutely spaghettiing his exhaust pipe a couple of weeks ago at the GXCCs, takes the Yami up to a number 5 finish. Rocking it for the 2 smokers on the blue crew. Vickers Olivier was just up the road from him on a number 4 finish. Only around about a minute between Young and Olivier to dice out that number 4 finish. Come the end of the day's racing, just under 3 hours these guys put into the chair. 3 minutes up the road was Carl Johnson. 3rd place for him. And fighting off a close pack as well. When you see the lap times, you understand that anyone can beat this gate. Etienne Kraling was running in the number 2 spot, around about 3 minutes up the road, but it was once again Jean-Dre Olivier, the guy on the Sherco that made a name for himself at round number 1 just a couple of weeks back, and it wasn't a one-trick pony. He is the guy to beat, and he hasn't found a track that doesn't suit his style yet. Making his way inside the top 6, but not cracking it into the show was Dennis van der Merwe. His good buddy, Jaco Jens van Rensburg, did crack the show, tagging a number 5 finish this time around. Matthew Snyman, who gated the big hole shot, stays inside the top 5. One of the best rides we've seen coming out of Matthew Snyman to bring home yet another top 5 placing for the VW Hatfield Mastercars squad. Up the road from him was the loud and proud and charging 444 Motorsport. Werner Nortje. This kid is getting super tasty, racing out of that 350 Husqvarna machine. Not too long until we see him challenge for the big wins. Gert van der Berg knows what he's doing when it comes to this kind of terrain. He catches a few people unawares with his very casual approach to racing, but very smooth riding style. Second place, stayed out of trouble. Only one man beat him on the day, the Devastator. The first time we've seen Devin Smith from the Vans Husqvarna Racing Squad come out and show what he can do at the 424s. Using the club championship to polish his blade, to see what he can do in the rest of the regional championships. But Smith always going to put on a show and always challenge for the win. This time around, the win and the fastest lap time of the day goes to the ever entertaining Devastator. We caught up with Dev after the race.
Yeah, it's my first 424, so I don't expect so like GXCC. It's not so many kilometers as GXCC. Track was amazing. Well done to the 424 crew. Only the lurkers, much lurkers in the grass, and yeah, I fell twice hard, but I stood up and I went on. Thanks to Vans Racing Team, they all supporting me all the way, and especially my mom and my dad. And just won and Dunlop.
You're going to see you at the next one?
Maybe, maybe not. We will decide.
Well, we hope to see the Devastator. I don't know if his competition will be too happy to see him as he hammered the nail at round number 2. Putting some big time into Gert van der Berg, Werner Nortje, Maddie Snyman, Jaco Janse van Rensburg and Dennis van der Merwe. Good times from our pro class riders though. In our Pro-Am gate, Jean-Andre Olivier continues his dominance at the top, beating out on Kraylin, Johnson, Olivier, Young and Kutsia. For the Open A's, all about Nathan Godrich finding that mojo once again, putting just about 5 minutes into Klaasen, Skippers, Versace, Delport and Fanta. For the high school gate, it's Jean-Andre Bosch who is the dude to beat on the 125ers, beating out Smith, Ferrell, Herbst, Van Staden and Vulcan. The Open B's all about Divan, Pieterse, Van Skalkbeck and Coolridge, but any of those guys can take a win. Don't count out Hartsleaf, Peters and Vermaak. For the seniors gate, the man to beat is Jannie Potgieter. He's gone 2 for 2 on the season so far. This time Forster was his closest rival, ahead of Martins, Chris Harmster Sr., Buerta and Krobler with the Masters class. Krobus Jonk, the Viking as he's known amongst the racing fraternity, putting well over 10 minutes into Johan Bosch, with Charles Van Rooyen the best of the rest, ahead of Fenta and Fourie. In the wild class, some new winners on the tour. Sean De Lange hits the top step ahead of Tayson, with Van der Bank, Koch, Janse van Rensburg and Cater cracking the top 6. The ladies class, Compain hits the top, beating out on Dalport and Daniel. That is going to be the championship. Watch out for that to start bubbling. 85 seniors, 2 finishes. Krobler beating out on Swats, and in the classics, Johan Visser and that KX 500 stays on top ahead of Schulling and Gennis. That was Balfour. That was round number 2 of the 424s. We now get ourselves ready for round number 3 in just over a month's time, 7th of May. Watch for the press as we tell you where we are headed. But 424 is wrapped up nice and tight in a bow. 2 rounds done. Round 3 is next. All of this 424 Off-Road Series racing action at Balfour was brought to you by HFC Engineering, VW Mastercars Hatfield, AC Crane Maintenance, EMT Boxberg, Insight Printing and Packaging, the 424 Garage, Safuti Transport, and Old School Customs.
So that was 424s. So what have we got coming up for the racing month of April? So April's always a little bit of a strange one because of the Easter holidays, right bang in the middle of the month. So the guys tend to go top and tail. That's exactly what's happening this year once again. So this coming week, it's the next round of the GXCCs. They're going to go out to Radium. That's for their third round of the championship. I'll be out there barking down the mic, making some noise out there. So it's going to be fun to see you guys once again, but it's going to be fresh. I think it's going to be a cold one, certainly first thing in the morning for the juniors and the quads, and then obviously things will heat up as the day goes on. Radium is the dusty one. It's quite rough and rocky out there as well, but we'll be out there nonetheless. And I can't wait to see you guys, the GXCC family. So, and then we go into the middle of the month. That's going to be the Easter holidays. Straight after the Easter holidays, we're going to be going Farm Jam Racing. That's going to be their second round of the championship. It's Pienaar Dam, so make sure you get those entries in. I'm actually going up next week to see Leon and Rowan to chat about their new venue. We'll go out to the venue, we'll have a little walk around and chat to the lads and see what the crack is there. But there's still plenty to come in the racing month of April. Hope you guys enjoyed the show today, which was all about the 424s in their second round. And we'll carry on bringing you all of that footage from that great series. But we'll start turning our attention to a couple of other tours as well as the year starts to get some meat on the bone. Catch you guys later.